Have you ever had that nagging feeling in the pit of your stomach? That sense that someone's smile didn't quite reach their eyes? That gut instinct telling you something's off, even when everything seems fine on the surface? Well, my friend, you might be onto something more significant than you realize. Welcome to our channel, where we dive deep into the intricacies of human behavior and relationships. Today, we're going to uncover a truth that many of us have felt but struggled to put into words. We're talking about hidden dislike, that subtle, insidious form of negativity that can lurk beneath the surface of our interactions. You see, not all negativity comes wrapped in loud arguments or obvious confrontations. Sometimes, the most damaging attitudes hide behind polite smiles and casual conversations. It's these hidden forms of dislike that can slowly erode our self-esteem, taint our relationships, and leave us questioning our own perceptions. But here's the good news: knowledge is power. By the end of this video, you'll be equipped with the tools to recognize these subtle signs, protect your emotional well-being, and surround yourself with genuine, positive connections. We're going to explore 12 key signs that someone might secretly dislike you. But before we dive in, I want you to know that this isn't about paranoia or suspicion. It's about awareness, self-protection, and ultimately creating healthier, more authentic relationships in your life. Let's start by understanding why this matters so much. Studies show that toxic relationships can have a profound impact on our mental health. A survey by the Mental Health Foundation found that 85% of people believe that the quality of their relationships is crucial to their mental well-being. Yet, many of us unknowingly maintain connections with people who secretly harbor negative feelings towards us. These hidden negative attitudes can lead to increased stress, lowered self-esteem, and even contribute to anxiety and depression. By learning to recognize these signs, you're not just protecting your peace, you're safeguarding your mental health and personal growth. So, are you ready to decode the subtle language of dislike? Let's dive in. Sign number 1, the hollow smile. We've all heard the phrase, "the eyes are the windows to the soul." And when it comes to genuine emotions, this couldn't be truer. The first sign we're going to explore is what I call the hollow smile. Picture this. You're at a social gathering, and you run into someone you know. They greet you with a smile, but something feels off. Their lips are curved upwards, but their eyes remain cold, almost lifeless. This, my friends, is the hollow smile. A genuine smile, also known as a Duchenne smile, named after the 19th century French neurologist Guillaume Duchenne, involves not just the mouth, but also the eyes. When we're truly happy or pleased to see someone, the orbicularis oculi muscles around our eyes contract, creating those characteristic crow's feet at the corners. But here's the kicker. These muscles are incredibly difficult to control voluntarily. That's why a forced smile often looks unnatural, because it lacks the involvement of these crucial eye muscles. So, the next time you interact with someone, pay close attention to their eyes. Are they crinkling at the corners? Is there a warmth that matches the curve of their lips? If not, you might be dealing with a hollow smile, a potential sign that the person's feelings towards you aren't as positive as they're trying to portray. But remember, context is key. Everyone has off days, and a single instance of a hollow smile doesn't necessarily indicate dislike. Look for patterns over time. Sign number 2, the excuse factory. Moving on to our second sign, the excuse factory. This is when someone consistently finds reasons not to spend time with you or engage in activities involving you. Now, we all lead busy lives, and occasionally having to decline invitations or reschedule plans is normal. But when someone seems to have an endless supply of excuses, it might be a sign of something deeper. Think about it. When we genuinely like someone, We make an effort to spend time with them. We prioritize those connections. But when someone harbors hidden dislike, they often try to create distance without outright rejecting the relationship. "Oh, I'd love to, but I'm swamped with work. Something came up at the last minute. I'm not feeling well today." Sound familiar? While these excuses might be valid occasionally, a pattern of constant avoidance is a red flag. It's a psychological mechanism to reject your presence without saying it outright. The impact of this behavior can be profound. Constant rejection, even in this subtle form, can lead to feelings of unworthiness and affect your self-esteem. It's a form of emotional neglect that can be just as damaging as outright hostility. If you notice this pattern with someone in your life, it might be time to have an honest conversation or reevaluate the importance of that relationship in your life. Sign number 3. The achievement diminisher. We've all experienced moments of pride and accomplishment. Maybe you got a promotion at work, ran your first marathon, or finally mastered that difficult recipe. These are moments worth celebrating, moments when we hope our friends and loved ones will share in our joy. But what happens when someone consistently downplays your achievements? Enter the achievement diminisher. This person has a knack for subtly undermining your successes. They might say things like, "Oh, anyone could have done that. Well, it's not like it was that difficult, right? I guess they must have been short on candidates for that promotion." These comments might seem harmless on the surface, but they carry a powerful sting. They're designed to take the wind out of your sails, to diminish your sense of accomplishment. Why would someone do this? Often it stems from their own insecurities or jealousy. By minimizing your achievements, they might be trying to make themselves feel better or maintain a sense of superiority. The long-term effect of this behavior can be devastating to your self-confidence. Over time, you might start to doubt your own abilities or feel like your accomplishments aren't worth celebrating. Remember this: your achievements are valid. Your hard work deserves recognition. If someone in your life consistently fails to celebrate your successes, or worse, tries to diminish them, it's a clear sign that they might not have your best interests at heart. Sign number 4. The invisible treatment. Imagine walking into a room and feeling like you don't exist. You speak, but no one seems to hear. You're there, but no one acknowledges your presence. This, my friends, is what I call the invisible treatment. Being deliberately ignored is one of the most painful forms of social rejection. It goes beyond mere rudeness. It's a way of saying, "You're so insignificant to me that I won't even acknowledge your existence." This behavior might manifest in various ways. Not responding when you speak in a group setting. Avoiding eye contact when you're in the same room. Talking over you or acting as if you hadn't spoken. The psychology behind this behavior is fascinating and troubling. Studies in social psychology have shown that being ignored activates the same areas of the brain as physical pain. It's not just emotionally hurtful, our brains process it as a form of injury. Dr. Kipling Williams, a professor of psychological sciences at Purdue University, has extensively researched this phenomenon, which he calls ostracism. His studies have shown that even brief periods of being ignored can lead to feelings of anger, sadness, and worthlessness. So, if you find yourself consistently on the receiving end of this treatment from someone, it's a strong indicator that they may harbor negative feelings towards you. It's their way of rejecting your very presence without having to confront you directly. Remember, you deserve to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. Don't let anyone make you feel invisible. Sign number 5. Sarcasm overload. Sarcasm. It can be witty, it can be funny, but when it's constantly directed at you, it can also be a weapon. Welcome to the world of sarcasm overload. This is when someone uses sarcasm not as a form of playful banter, but as a thinly veiled method of expressing contempt or dislike. Wow, you actually got that right for once. I'm impressed. Oh, look who decided to grace us with their presence. Yeah, because your opinion is always so valuable. Sarcasm in its essence is saying the opposite of what you mean, often with a mocking or contemptuous tone. When used occasionally and in good humor, it can be a form of wit. But when it becomes a constant in someone's interactions with you, it's often a sign of underlying negativity. The tricky part about sarcasm is that it provides a layer of plausible deniability. If called out, the person can always fall back on, "I was just joking." This makes it a favored tool for those who want to express negative feelings without being overtly hostile. Dr. Clifford Lazarus, a clinical psychologist, describes chronic sarcasm as a form of verbal aggression. It's a way to deliver a verbal blow while maintaining a facade of humor. The emotional toll of constant sarcasm can be significant. It can make you feel belittled, disrespected, and constantly on edge. Over time, it can erode your self-esteem and create a toxic dynamic in the relationship. If you find yourself on the receiving end of relentless sarcasm, it's important to address it. Sometimes the person might not even realize how their words are affecting you. An honest conversation about how their comments make you feel can be eye-opening. But if the behavior persists even after you've expressed your feelings, it might be time to reevaluate the relationship. Remember, respect should be the foundation of any healthy interaction. Sign number 6, the criticism avalanche. We've all received criticism at some point in our lives. When it's constructive, it can help us grow and improve. But what happens when criticism becomes a constant, overwhelming force in a relationship? That's what I call the criticism avalanche. This sign manifests as a persistent pattern of fault-finding. No matter what you do, say, or achieve, this person always seems to find something to criticize. It's as if they're wearing special glasses that only allow them to see your flaws and shortcomings. Your presentation was okay, I guess, but you could have done so much better. I can't believe you're wearing that. Don't you care about your appearance? You always make these kinds of mistakes. When will you ever learn? The key here is to distinguish between constructive criticism and baseless negativity. Constructive criticism is specific, actionable, and delivered with the intent to help you improve. Baseless negativity, on the other hand, is vague, persistent, and seems more focused on tearing you down than building you up. Dr. John Gottman, a renowned psychologist and relationship expert, identifies criticism as one of the 4 horsemen that predict the end of a relationship. When criticism becomes pervasive, it creates a hostile environment that erodes trust and intimacy. The psychological impact of constant criticism can be severe. It can lead to decreased self-esteem, increased anxiety and self-doubt, a tendency to become overly defensive, difficulty in trusting others or forming close relationships. If you find yourself drowning in an avalanche of criticism from someone in your life, it's crucial to set boundaries. Remember, you have the right to be treated with respect and kindness. Here are some strategies for dealing with excessive criticism. 1. Identify the pattern. Recognize when criticism has become excessive or unfair. 2. Don't internalize it. Remember that constant criticism often says more about the critic than about you. 3. Set boundaries. Clearly communicate that while you're open to constructive feedback, constant criticism is not acceptable. 4. Seek support. Surround yourself with people who appreciate and value you. Remember, a person who genuinely cares about you might offer criticism occasionally, but it will come from a place of love and a desire to see you succeed. If criticism is the dominant theme in someone's interactions with you, it might be a sign of underlying dislike or resentment. Sign number 7, unfavorable comparisons. We've all heard the saying, comparison is the thief of joy. But when someone consistently compares you unfavorably to others, they're not just stealing your joy, they're subtly expressing their dislike or disappointment in you. Welcome to the world of unfavorable comparisons. This is a tactic where someone repeatedly measures you against others, always finding you coming up short. It's a subtle art of making you feel less than. Why can't you be more like Sarah? She always dresses so professionally. John from accounting got his report in early. Maybe you could learn something from him. Your sister got straight A's again. What happened with your grades? These comparisons might seem innocuous on the surface. After all, isn't it natural to notice how people differ? But when these comparisons become a pattern, especially when they always cast you in a negative light, it's a red flag. The psychology behind this behavior is complex. Sometimes, the person making these comparisons might genuinely believe they're motivating you to improve. More often, though, it's a manifestation of their own dissatisfaction or a way to exert control by keeping you feeling inadequate. Dr. Leon Festinger's social comparison theory suggests that we have an innate drive to evaluate ourselves in comparison to others. While this can be a normal part of self-assessment, when someone else constantly forces unfavorable comparisons on you, it can have devastating effects on your self-esteem and self-image. The impact of constant unfavorable comparisons can include chronic feelings of inadequacy, imposter syndrome, anxiety and depression, strained relationships, difficulty in recognizing and celebrating your own achievements. So, how can you build resilience against these comparisons? 1. Recognize the pattern. Be aware when someone is consistently comparing you unfavorably to others. Second question. The motive. Ask yourself or them why these comparisons are being made. 3. Focus on your own journey. Remember that everyone's path is unique and progress isn't a competition. 4. Set boundaries. Let the person know that constant comparisons are not helpful or welcome. 5. Celebrate your own achievements. Take time to acknowledge your growth and successes, no matter how small. Remember, someone who genuinely cares about you will focus on your individual growth and celebrate your unique qualities, not constantly measure you against others. Sign number 8. Mockery of vulnerabilities. We all have insecurities and vulnerabilities. They're part of what makes us human. In healthy relationships, these vulnerabilities are treated with care and respect. But what happens when someone uses your insecurities as ammunition against you? That's what we call mockery of vulnerabilities. This sign is particularly cruel because it targets the parts of ourselves that we're most sensitive about. It's like someone finding a crack in your armor and repeatedly poking at it, causing maximum emotional damage. Oh, you're nervous about public speaking? That's cute. Most adults have gotten over that fear by now. Still struggling with your weight? Maybe you just lack willpower. You're so sensitive. Can't you take a joke? When someone consistently mocks or belittles your vulnerabilities, it's not just unkind, it's a form of emotional abuse. It's an attempt to exert power over you by making you feel small and inadequate. The psychological impact of this behavior can be severe and long-lasting. It can lead to increased anxiety and self-doubt, difficulty in opening up to others, a tendency to hide one's true self, lowered self-esteem and self-worth. Dr. Brené Brown, a research professor known for her work on vulnerability and shame, emphasizes that our vulnerabilities are not weaknesses. In fact, she argues that vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. When someone mocks your vulnerabilities, they're not just attacking your insecurities, they're attacking your potential for growth and authenticity. So, How can you protect yourself from this kind of behavior? 1. Recognize it for what it is. Understand that mockery of vulnerabilities is about the other person's issues, not your worth. 2. Set firm boundaries. Make it clear that targeting your insecurities is off limits. 3. Surround yourself with supportive people. Cultivate relationships with those who respect and value all aspects of you, including your vulnerabilities. 4. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself, especially about the things you're insecure about. 5. Seek professional help if needed. If the mockery has significantly impacted your self-esteem, talking to a therapist can be incredibly helpful. Remember, your vulnerabilities are part of what makes you unique and human. Anyone who uses them against you is showing their own weakness, not yours. Sign number 9. Fair weather friend syndrome. We've all heard the saying, "A friend in need is a friend indeed." But what about those who are only around when times are good? Welcome to the world of the fair weather friend syndrome. This sign is particularly insidious because it often doesn't reveal itself until you're at your lowest point. A fair weather friend is someone who's happy to be in your life when everything is going well, but mysteriously disappears or becomes indifferent when you're facing challenges. Scenario 1. You get a promotion at work. Your fair weather friend is the first to suggest a celebratory dinner. Scenario 2. You lose your job. The same friend is suddenly too busy to meet up or offer support. The true test of a relationship often comes during difficult times. It's easy to be friends when life is smooth sailing, but genuine connections are revealed when the storms hit. Dr. Irene S. Levine, psychologist and author of Best Friends Forever, Surviving a Breakup with Your Best Friend, notes that fair weather friendships can be particularly painful because they leave us feeling abandoned just when we need support the most. The behavior of a fair weather friend might manifest in several ways. They're unavailable when you're going through a tough time. They seem uncomfortable or dismissive when you share your problems. They change the subject when you try to discuss serious issues. They only reach out when they need something or when things are going well for you. The impact of this behavior can be profound. It can leave you feeling isolated during difficult times. It can make you question the authenticity of your relationships. It can lead to trust issues in future friendships. It might exacerbate feelings of low self-worth during challenging periods. So, how can you deal with fair weather friends and cultivate more genuine relationships? 1. Recognize the pattern. Be aware of who shows up for you in both good times and bad. 2. Communicate your needs. Sometimes people might not realize how their behavior is affecting you. An honest conversation can be eye-opening. 3. Reciprocate support. Be the kind of friend you want to have. Show up for others during their tough times. 4. Invest in quality over quantity. Focus on nurturing deep, meaningful relationships rather than maintaining a large number of superficial connections. 5. Know when to let go. If someone consistently shows they're only interested in the good times, it might be time to reevaluate the relationship. Remember, true friendship isn't about perfection. We all have moments when we might not be at our best, but a pattern of only being present during good times is a clear sign that someone might not have your best interests at heart. Cultivating genuine, supportive relationships is crucial for our emotional well-being. Surround yourself with people who are there for you through thick and thin. These are the connections that will truly enrich your life. Sign number 10, the emotional ambush. Imagine walking through a field, enjoying a peaceful day, when suddenly, boom, you've stepped on an emotional landmine. Welcome to the world of the emotional ambush. This sign is characterized by someone who seems to deliberately seek out opportunities to upset you or make you uncomfortable. They're like emotional snipers, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Oh, I forgot. You're sensitive about your weight. Should I not have mentioned that cake? I saw your ex the other day. They looked really happy with their new partner. Oops, was I not supposed to say that? Remember that embarrassing thing you did 5 years ago? Let me bring it up in front of everyone. These ambushes are rarely accidental. They're calculated moves designed to throw you off balance, to make you feel vulnerable or upset. It's a form of emotional manipulation that can be incredibly damaging. The psychology behind this behavior is complex. Often, people who engage in emotional ambushes are dealing with their own insecurities or negative emotions. By making others feel bad, they might temporarily feel better about themselves or gain a sense of control. Dr. George Simon, a clinical psychologist and author specializing in manipulation tactics, describes this behavior as a form of covert aggression. The aggressor can maintain a facade of innocence. I didn't mean to upset you, while still inflicting emotional harm. The impact of these emotional ambushes can be severe. Increased anxiety, especially in social situations. Difficulty trusting others. Emotional exhaustion from always being on guard. Lowered self-esteem and confidence. So, how can you protect yourself from these emotional landmines? 1. Recognize the pattern. Be aware of people who consistently seem to accidentally upset you. 2. Set clear boundaries. Let the person know that their behavior is not acceptable. 3. Practice emotional self-defense. Develop techniques to stay calm in the face of provocations. 4th, limit exposure. If someone consistently engages in this behavior, it might be necessary to limit your interactions with them. 5. Seek support. Talk to trusted friends or a therapist about these experiences. They can provide valuable perspective and coping strategies. Remember, you have the right to feel safe and respected in your relationships. Anyone who consistently tries to ambush you emotionally is not looking out for your well-being. Sign number 11, the rumor mill. We've all played the game telephone as kids, where a message gets distorted as it's passed from person to person. But what happens when someone deliberately starts spreading negative information about you behind your back? That's what we call the rumor mill. This sign is particularly insidious because it often happens outside of your awareness. You might only realize what's going on when you start noticing changed behavior from others or when the rumors finally make their way back to you. I heard from Sarah, who heard from John, that you... Don't tell anyone, but I heard that. I'm not sure if it's true, but people are saying. Spreading rumors or talking negatively about someone behind their back is a clear sign of dislike or resentment. It's a cowardly way to express negative feelings without direct confrontation. The psychology behind rumor spreading is fascinating. Dr. Nicholas Defonso, a professor of psychology who has extensively studied rumor and gossip, notes that rumors often serve several functions. 1. Information seeking. People spread rumors to try to make sense of uncertain situations. 2. Self-enhancement. Sharing insider information can make people feel important. 3. Relationship building. Sharing secrets can create a sense of intimacy, albeit a false one. 4. Anxiety reduction. Spreading negative rumors about others can temporarily alleviate one's own insecurities. However, when rumors are deliberately used to damage someone's reputation, it goes beyond these functions and enters the realm of social aggression. The impact of being the target of rumors can be devastating. Damage to personal and professional relationships, feelings of betrayal and isolation, anxiety about what others might be thinking or saying, loss of trust in social circles. So, how can you deal with the rumor mill? 1. Address it directly. If you know who's spreading rumors, confront them calmly and ask for an explanation. 2. Don't fuel the fire. Avoid engaging in or spreading rumors yourself, even in retaliation. 3. Maintain your integrity. Continue to behave in a way that contradicts the negative rumors. 4. Seek support. Confide in trusted friends who can provide emotional support and potentially help clear your name. 5. Consider the source. Remember that people who spread malicious rumors often do so out of their own insecurities or unhappiness. Remember, your true character will shine through in the long run. Those who know you well are unlikely to be swayed by baseless rumors. Sign number 12, the Schadenfreude specialist. We've reached our final sign, and it's perhaps the most telling of all. Meet the Schadenfreude specialist. Schadenfreude is a German word that doesn't have a direct English equivalent. It means taking pleasure in someone else's misfortune. While most of us might occasionally feel a twinge of this, admit it. You've probably felt a little satisfaction when that annoying coworker got a parking ticket. For some people, it becomes a defining characteristic of their relationship with you. Your project at work fails. Well, I guess they'll think twice before putting you in charge again, huh? You trip and fall. Oh man, that was hilarious. I wish I'd recorded it. Your relationship ends. I always knew they were too good for you anyway. When someone consistently takes joy in your failures or struggles, it's a clear sign that they harbor negative feelings towards you. It goes beyond mere indifference. It's an active delight in your misfortune. The psychology behind Schadenfreude is complex. Dr. Wilco W. van Dijk, a social psychologist who has extensively studied this phenomenon, suggests that Schadenfreude often stems from feelings of envy, resentment, or a need to feel superior. When someone experiences persistent Schadenfreude towards you, it can indicate deep-seated jealousy or resentment, a need to feel superior by comparison, lack of empathy or emotional maturity, unresolved conflicts or perceived slights. The impact of being around a Schadenfreude specialist can be severe. Decreased self-confidence, reluctance to share personal information or struggles, feelings of being unsupported or even targeted, toxic atmosphere in personal or professional relationships. So, how can you deal with someone who seems to revel in your misfortunes? 1. Recognize the behavior. Be aware of who seems unusually pleased when things go wrong for you. 2. Don't give them ammunition. Limit what you share with people who have shown this tendency. 3. Surround yourself with supportive people. Focus on relationships with those who genuinely want to see you succeed. Address it directly. If it's someone you can't avoid, consider having an honest conversation about how their reactions affect you. 5. Practice self-compassion. Don't let their negativity make you harder on yourself during challenging times. Remember, someone's joy in your misfortune says far more about them than it does about you. Your setbacks and struggles are part of your journey, not entertainment for others. Taking action, protecting your peace. We've journeyed through 12 subtle but significant signs that someone might secretly dislike you. But knowledge alone isn't enough. It's what we do with that knowledge that truly matters. So, let's talk about protecting your peace. Here's a step-by-step guide to create your own positivity action plan. 1. Reflect and identify. Take some time to reflect on your relationships. Are there people in your life who consistently exhibit these signs? Write them down. But remember, this isn't about paranoia or suspicion. It's about honest self-reflection. 2. Set clear boundaries. Once you've identified potentially toxic relationships, it's time to set boundaries. This might mean limiting your interactions, being more guarded with personal information, or directly addressing problematic behavior. 3. Cultivate positive relationships. Focus on nurturing relationships with people who genuinely support and care for you. These are the people who celebrate your successes, support you through challenges, and make you feel valued. Practice self-care. Dealing with hidden negativity can be emotionally draining. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. This might include regular exercise, meditation, journaling, or any activity that helps you recharge. 5. Boost your self-esteem. Don't let others' negativity define your self-worth. Engage in activities that make you feel competent and valued. Set personal goals and celebrate when you achieve them. 6. Seek professional help if needed. If you're struggling to cope with the emotional impact of toxic relationships, don't hesitate to seek help from a therapist or counselor. They can provide valuable strategies for dealing with these situations. 7. Practice forgiveness. This doesn't mean accepting bad behavior, but rather freeing yourself from the burden of resentment. Remember, forgiveness is for you, not for them. 8. Stay true to yourself. Don't change who you are to please others or avoid their dislike. Authenticity is key to genuine relationships and personal happiness. Remember, you deserve to be surrounded by people who appreciate and value you. Your peace of mind is precious, and it's up to you to protect it. As we wrap up this journey through the subtle signs of hidden dislike, I want to leave you with a message of empowerment. Recognizing these signs isn't about becoming paranoid or distrustful. It's about being aware, setting healthy boundaries, and prioritizing your emotional well-being. Remember, not everyone will like you, and that's okay. It's not a reflection of your worth. What matters is that you surround yourself with people who genuinely care for you, support your growth, and bring positivity into your life. You have the power to choose your relationships, to set boundaries, and to create an environment that nurtures your well-being. Use that power wisely. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of human behavior and relationships. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Your support helps us continue creating content that matters. And remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind to others, and most importantly, to yourself. Until next time, take care and protect your peace.